Welcome to Taboo Texarkana, the podcast where we dive deep into the untold stories, spiritual journeys, and topics people don't usually talk about. I'm Colton Foltz, your host, inviting you to join us as we sit down with incredible individuals from Texarkana and beyond. And today I have a special guest, Trey Reed, aka the Dreaded Archer. He's a podcaster, a hunter, a bow hunter, and is doing a lot of things for the hunting community and the black community with hunting. So, welcome, Trey. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh man, thanks for having me, man.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
excited.
Yeah. So, I always ask people first, like, where are you from? You from Texarkana? Where'd you go to school at? And how'd you end up where you are today?
All right, well, yeah, born and raised here, in Texarkana. My family, we grew up out in Wamba, so like
Oh,
out,
yeah.
the Shuffle, that little
Uh-huh.
area back there. That's where we all grew up and ran around and went to Pleasant Grove. My whole life played football, um, and then went off to college. Went to the Naval Academy, which was a terrible experience.
Yeah.
I hated it, but it was one of those things where it's a big opportunity. A lot of people from around here had never. Well, actually, I was the first person from this area to ever go to the academy.
Wow.
So I went and enjoyed playing football. Hated the school, and then left there. Went to Southern Arkansas. Finished up, graduated, played football there as well, and then came back home. Worked for a little bit at Texarkana College, and then
Yeah.
shot out to South Dakota to work for RJ Reynolds. So,
So, Wamba seems like the perfect stomping grounds to like get into hunting and stuff, but you didn't. Did you hunt when you were younger? Were you
no.
exposed to it?
No, yeah, I was exposed to it. My dad hunted, but it
Yeah.
was one of those things that was like that was his thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember, like when you're little, you really don't know when hunt season is. I just knew like when it's cold outside, we going to football games. I know Saturday mornings he's gonna go hunt.
Yeah.
And I used to try to get up and like, hey, can I go with you? And he's like, no, go back to sleep. So there were several years where I would like constantly ask, and then it got to a point where it's like, all right, obviously he's not going to take me, and I started playing like little league football and stuff like that. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm just gonna do sports, and
Yeah.
he can have his hunting. That's his thing. So no, I didn't grow up hunting at all, but I was definitely exposed to it. Had uncles and cousins that did it, and you'd hear them talking about it and stuff. And it's like, man, I want to do it, but when you're 7, 8 years old, you can't just go on your own.
Yeah, you gotta have somebody like a mentor or
Yeah.
a grandfather or father to take you out there and show you the ropes, like, did he hunt in Wamba? Like, did they have their own lease or
No, he had
is it
his own
public?
land out there, so he would hunt on this property, and then his cousin Bob, they had a lease out in Hooks, so they would go out there and
Yeah.
hunt. So he bounced around a lot. I remember one time we were out playing in the yard, and we out in the country, so it's like 3 or 4 doe had walked out in this field, and we're playing, and he just like runs out on the front porch and just like drops down and we was like, oh snap, and she dropped,
Yeah.
and we was like, oh snap, we having deer sausage.
Yeah. Man, that's the life. Like, that's what I envision. That's what I hope to have. Like I was telling you before the podcast, we had that 40 acres out there, and the last couple weeks I was out there, doe were coming within the like small 5 acres in front of the house. Like, I
Yeah.
had never seen deer like that close. I'm on my front porch. Man, I'm doing yoga, looking out the window, and I see this deer, and I'm like, I could like, I'm not gonna shoot
Yeah.
this deer while I'm like meditating and doing
Right.
yoga out through the window, shoot in the house. It's crazy, but I hope to get back to that. So the Naval Academy, I thought those guys were like enlisted, so they can draft just any college football players for the
No, so
Naval,
so the
or
Naval Academy is basically you're a non-commissioned officer
mm-hmm.
candidate, basically is what it is. So it's full of high school kids. I mean, it's full of the kids that graduated high school. So basically I got recruited to play football.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to have the grades and all the scores and to get in academically. So the route to get in to play, if you're a football player, is a lot different than it is for, say, a regular kid in high school that wants to just go to the academy and become a commissioned officer.
Yeah.
So like, if you're just, what we called normies when you're at the academy, you have to like get like a letter of recommendation from like your senator or a governor. I was lucky; I got the presidential recommendation from George Bush. So it was like I didn't
Nice.
apply for it. I don't know how I got it. It just came in the mail. So I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm in.
That's what's up. Yeah, I always that makes a lot of sense. So when you got done doing that, where did life take you?
It took me to SAU, because
Mhm.
I got hurt there several times, and I wanted to be I wanted to be a pilot. That was like what I want to do. Like I want to be Marine Corps Air, fly helicopters or whatever they're gonna put me in. But I want
Yeah.
to fly, and that wasn't I didn't have the grades to be a pilot because they real you got to be
It's
top of the
top
class,
tier, man.
and it was like a couple injuries. So I was like, you know what, I can't do what I want to do in the military, so I'm just gonna leave. On top of that, I didn't like my company officers, so I just dipped out.
Yeah.
So it ended up getting me to SAU, and man, I played football there and met some incredible friends that still lifelong friends today. And then it brought me right back here to Texarkana after I graduated.
Yeah. So, when did hunting first grab you? How'd you get into it?
Man, it's a wild story. So after I moved to South Dakota, dude, I'm dealing with depression because like you play football your entire life, so that's basically became my identity. So that first year up there, I'm like, man, like right around I'll say that May, April, May area where it's like this is when I would start working out with football.
Mhm.
My body was like, man, something's going on. Like we're just working and coming home. So like at the time I didn't know it was depression. I just thought like something I'm missing home. That's all I thought.
Mhm.
So I was a drinker before, but then I was like getting off work, going to the bar, drinking. And I was like, well, when I'm drinking, I don't think about playing football. So it became like a regular like get off at 5 o'clock at the bar till 11:30, 12 o'clock, and I started gaining weight, and I was like now I'm in like the deep part of depression where it's like I don't even know if I even want to like keep on going on because this is bad.
Yeah.
So the girl I was dating at the time, she was like, "Yo, we need to get out and go do something." So we're out just riding around. And at the time, we're looking at buying a house. So riding around looking at houses, and there's this little rickety sign that says Archery Shop, and I pass it all the time. Never went down there.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Yo, let's go down there and see what they got going on." So we walk in, and the owner Kim, he's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm just, just coming around. Just I pass here every day. I want to see what you guys doing here." He was like, "It's an archery shop." And he's real blunt, like, "It's an archery shop. What do you think we do here?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, I've never shot." And he put a bow in my hand, and man, from that first shot, something lit up in me. I'm like, "Hey man, give me another one of them arrows." So he gave me another one. I shot another one, and I'm all over the place. It's not like I went in and I was
Yeah.
right on the money. I'm all over, man, big spread. But he coached me up, and by about an hour in, I'm hitting plate size groups at
Yeah.
20 yards, and I want to buy one, but at that time I had shot so long they're getting ready to close. So the next morning I'm there right before like they even open. He pulls up, and I'm like, "Y'all want to buy a bow?" Went in, bought all the stuff, and dude, I shot that bow like the entire day while they were there. I shoot, walk around the shop, and from that day to the day I moved, I was in that shop every day. But how I got into hunting was I was in there shooting one day, and this guy named Bob was like, he called me Trey Bird. He's like, "Yo, Trey Bird, like, are you hunting this year?" And I was like, "I can hunt with this?" And he was like, "Yeah." So he sat me down and got me on South Dakota Game Fishing Park's website and helped me apply for a tag, and kind of like took me under his wing and was like, "This is what you want to get a ground blind or hang on stand," and
Mhm.
kind of pointed me in the right direction. And then the girl I was dating at the time, her parents had a ton of land and her family hunted, so they kind of guided me to it as well. And I just like just jumped headfirst into it, man.
Why do you think it helped with your depression? What do you think it was?
Because the level of competition, how hard it is, I had to work towards something. So,
Yeah.
when you're playing football, you working to, become the starter. Then once you're the starter, you want to be the best on the team, the best in the league.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm doing something new. I'm shooting, and I was going to be a target shooter. I'm like, I can get in competition and start, winning some stuff. And that's the only thing I could think of is it was something to keep my mind,
Yeah.
constantly thinking. So it it took me over.
Yeah. I like that working towards a goal and like having a purpose and seeing your progress. Um, I think I have a crossbow. Don't hate on me. I'll tell you how I got into it and stuff too. But like I'm going through a divorce, stressed out. But when you go out there and shoot the bow, I mean, maybe even with the rifle too, like you're focusing on your breath.
Yeah,
You're like trying to breathe and calm your heart rate, and you're just like hyper focused on hitting the target and just racking another one over and over and over. And I think it's kind of similar to like yoga and movement and exercise. Like you're moving the body and you're like hyper focused and you're breathing. The breath is like regulating your nervous system and like you can't think about anything else when you're out there.
No, not at all. I mean, I know like when I'm at the range, like with my job and everything I got going on, my head is just it's constantly just it's loud.
Yeah.
But when I pull that bow back, it all goes like silent, and I'm focusing on the target, my breath, my
Yeah.
shot sequence, and then boom, all right, and just do it over again. Because
Yeah.
I'm not worried about anything else in the world when I'm on the range. When I'm in that tree and I'm hunting, I'm not worried about anything else in the world. That's my time, with God, in nature, and I'm at peace.
Yeah. Do you think more men should be outdoors today?
Yeah, yeah, that's our nature. That's our roots. That's
Yeah.
our roots, and that's originally why I started the podcast was because like I was like, I'm a former athlete that was dealing with depression, and archery helped me. Are there any other athletes around the country that's dealing with the same thing? And what did they do
Mhm.
to find? What did they do to fix it, or are they still going through it and looking for something? So that's how the podcast started. And the first couple of guys I had on the show were former athletes that were dealing with depression and found archery. But then it just kind of just rolled into this whole like archery thing.
What it is
Yeah,
now.
what it is now.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I grew up like rifle hunting since I was like 13. Killed several deer, only like one buck in my career. But I got back into hunting after the military 2020, and my buddy Nathan, shout out, he's probably gonna watch this. He has a couple questions for you too. He's a hunting freak, bro.
Yeah.
It's all we ever talk about, especially when it gets like July, August, September.
Yep.
Nothing but hunting, scouting,
I'll get those
this and that.
cameras out, get them food
Yeah.
plots up, all that.
I didn't know anything about archery. And then maybe after hunting a couple seasons on public land, he was like, bow season starts in October. And I was like, we can hunt more. Like, we can hunt longer. So I bought a crossbow, but
Yeah.
I need to go into a shop. I need somebody to set me up, give me the rundown, like the draw, the pounds and all that stuff. Cause I got gifted a compound bow
Yeah.
and like I couldn't pull it back. I don't know if it was too strong or if I was too weak at the time, but I just broke down and got a crossbow. So one of his questions for you is, what's your opinion on crossbows? Because he has one too.
There's a space for it in hunting. I'm not against anybody who uses a crossbow. I don't think it should be a part of archery season. It should
Mm,
either have its own season or be in rifle season. That's my only
interesting.
it's my only thing. Or if you're like elderly and you
Mm,
got a shoulder injury, all right, cool. You can use a crossbow year round or not year round, but during archery.
yeah,
But I don't think it should be in maybe the old crossbows, but these new crossbows, man, they're just as accurate as a rifle.
yeah, bro. It's powerful. That
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense breaking it down because they have like muzzle loader at the end of the season
yeah.
and like all these different. So that would make a lot of sense. But why do you say that? Is it because it's too easy?
It's too easy, yeah. Cause like with a compound bow, you know, my maximum kill range, and this is just me for this
Hmm.
ethically, is 40 yards.
Yeah,
I'm not shooting at an animal or a whitetail more than 40 yards. With a crossbow, I've seen cats shoot, a orange at 100 yards.
ooh,
You know,
yeah.
so
That's just as good as a
yeah,
rifle.
just as good as a rifle. So it's it just it. I hate to use the word fair, but it's not fair to compound archers, even though like you have the option if you want to
Yeah.
use one or not. Yeah,
That makes a lot more sense because with archery, you have to get so much closer. It's so much harder than regular rifle season. So maybe they give the compound bows like a 2 or 3 week
yeah,
head start before crossbow.
yeah.
Before,
That's what I think. Yeah, give them yeah, a 2 to 3 week, or just give them I archery. Y'all start in September, and then October 1st, crossbows can come out.
yeah,
So that gives the compound guys enough time to get their velvet bucks if they want one,
yeah,
or whatever. But yeah, just have their own season, or you know make it part of rifle. I don't know.
yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Do you have to? I don't know anything about compound bows. Do you have to wax the string or anything like you have to do with the compound with the crossbow?
Some strings, it all depends on the strings.
Mm,
So like there's companies out there that has like waxless waxless strings.
Okay.
So like Squatch, they make some really good strings and they're waxless. You don't have to wax them. A lot of other companies, you do have to wax them probably every, you know, 150, 200 shots.
Yeah.
Just
That's not
depending, yeah,
bad.
depending on, what environment you're in, what's the humidity.
Mhm.
I know if I'm out hunting and it's raining, I'm definitely waxing my strings, when I get to the house and letting it get dry. So it just really depends on, where you're at and what kind of strings you got.
Yeah. So, how did you start the podcast? Like, did somebody bring this idea to you, or you were just like, you saw a lack in the community and you're like, I want to start this to educate people and bring in other hunters into the sphere?
So that was my brother's idea. So like when I was in South Dakota, we talked on the phone all the time. Like first thing in the morning, 7:30, we talked about 9:30 every single day. Didn't miss a day. And he was like, "Dude, you need to like start a podcast because we already had one. We had to read, talk, and listen." He was like, "But you need to do one for hunting." So that's when I got the idea. Okay, I'm gonna talk to other former athletes that use archery as a way to get out of depression. And then, like, I had a hard time finding guys. Like, I found a couple, and then either people wouldn't respond to me, or they was like, "No, I don't want to even get into
I'm still
archery." Yeah, I'm
depressed.
still depressed. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
even
want
want
to
to talk
talk.
about it. So then I just like, well, I s- I've already put it out there. I'm starting a podcast, so I just started finding other black archers, and then that turned into just finding people reaching out like, "Yo, I want to come on your podcast," because they want to come on and debunk what the last person was talking about. And I was like, well, I don't want that.
Debunk it.
Yeah, I don't want to be like, well, black people hunt. Like, yeah, we do hunt, but it's not prevalent in the community. People don't really know about it that much. So then I started having all kind of guys on just to come on and talk about everything. Like if I wanted to know something, I'd go find somebody that's in that field or that's their expertise
Mhm.
and talk about it. So I've had guys that do taxidermy. I've had girls that do
Yeah.
taxidermy. People that are against rifle hunting. I mean, not rifle hunting, but people are against crossbows. And I'm in the middle, but I never let them know before the show like where I stand. I just
Yeah.
kind of bring them on. I've had people come on talk about legislation. Like if when I got into it,
Mm.
I wasn't big on legislation when it came to outdoor because I didn't think that it was a
Yeah.
big deal. I didn't think there was people out there actively trying to get rid of hunting and stopping
Yeah.
it. So I'd have guys reach out says, "Hey, we got this bill in Colorado that we need to talk about." Oh, I don't live in Colorado, so I don't care about it. And they're like, "No, well, if it happens here, it could happen in your state, so we need to
Yeah.
spread word about it." So the more wanted to learn, the more I started reaching out to people, and then it just became a
Blew up.
thing, man.
Man, I got so many questions about your podcast, but what do you think with the legislation is one of the biggest hurdles or issues or things that are trying to stop hunting, maybe locally or just nationally? Like what's going on?
Like right now, Oregon has IP 28, so that's a big thing that the hunting community is focusing on. And what they're trying to do is basically say that hunting is animal cruelty and get rid of it altogether. But they're covering that part up, and it's also that they're trying to get rid of farming, livestock farming. I think it's artificial insemination. They're saying that it's kind of like assault to the animals, so they're
Sheesh.
fighting that. Um, and then public land access. That's the biggest one right there. You got all these private equity firms that are they're looking at all of our national public hunting land and
Mhm.
saying, "Hey, that's prime real estate right there." And we're like, hold your horses. This is where we go out and hunt, but not just hunt. This is where people camp, hike. You got
Yeah.
bird watchers, people going out. All that. This is
Yeah.
our national forest, and they're trying to sell that off, and of course make a penny on it. So like right now, it's people trying to stop hunting. Public land access. I think the corner crossing has always been a ongoing thing, and that's just where you have public land, but then it butts up next to private land, and then you got public land on the other corner. Well, it doesn't hurt anybody if I just cross this fence to get to the public. But you got people that's like, nah, like that's my property. I don't want you on it. It's like
Yeah.
so states are constantly fighting that, back and forth.
Dang. I just got into hunting public land when I was reintroduced back into hunting because I was spoiled before. You don't know how good you got it when you're on a
Boy,
private
it's a
lease.
struggle, boy. Hunting public land is a struggle.
Like it's not it's already hard, but like this makes it almost I haven't killed one on public.
Yeah.
my buddy's gotten a few over the last few years, the guy I mentioned earlier, but it's so hard, man. There's so many people out there, and I don't know. I've been kind of like hating it and dreading it, but like my mission, I want to get one.
Yeah.
They're out there. Like
Oh yeah.
we got great public hunting land here in Texarkana, and I never knew about it until recently.
Oh yeah. The thing with public land, you got to go where no one else is willing to go. Like
Yeah.
you got to get into that thick, nasty stuff. And like for me, I hate snakes and I hate the dark. So living here is it's been different because like South Dakota hunting season, you don't got to really worry about snakes because it's cold. They're off doing their thing. But here you got to get in that thick stuff. You got to worry about ticks and stuff and just getting out deep. But
Yeah.
last year I had to force myself to do it. Just go out and just bushwhack and find a good spot. Luckily you got like e-scouting, so
Yeah.
you can kind of have a idea of where you're going to go and look at the land and how things are working. So I'd get out there and I've seen some great deer, man.
Yeah.
I've seen some great deer. They just didn't come in range. If I had a rifle, oh, I'd have had a really nice buck. Actually, two nice bucks last
Yeah.
year, but I chose to go the archery route. But public land is the learning curve is rough because you're not only trying to find a deer, you're battling against other hunters that's trying to do the exact same thing you're
Yeah.
doing.
And man, you could get there in the dark and get 3 or 4 miles in there, and then somebody else is waking up at 8 o'clock, walking in, and like people are out there like smoking or eating or
Yeah.
drinking and like using the restroom. Like somebody might be 300 yards this way, and like you're downwind, but now their wind's blowing onto you, and
Yep.
it's like it's frustrating.
It's real frustrating. And one thing about a whitetail, you're not gonna beat their nose. Like
No.
yeah, you can beat their eyesight and all that, but that nose, you're not gonna beat it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And all that things to learn too. Like growing up, I just go out there in the woods and
yeah.
like I'd shoot a deer like just standing up. And now it's like I'm looking at the wind and like trying to descent and like have all my gear, and it's it's a lot to learn.
Oh yeah, that learning curve. Like when I first started, I thought it was all a gimmick. I'm like, man, they trying to sell me all this, dead downwind stuff and scent cover. Like, I don't need all that. The pioneers didn't have all that.
Yeah.
And then you like, nah, they would like leave their clothes outside or they cover up in mud or
They had
animal
some
or
kind of
yeah,
trick.
some kind of something to cover their scent up. And so once I realized like, you can't beat their nose, and then I really started taking precautions. Like I know guys that they have a separate washer and dryer in their home strictly for their
That's
hunting clothes. That's
crazy.
how real they are about it.
That's next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I at least got like a smell proof bag, so I'll wash all those clothes together and then like keep them in that sealed bag.
Yep. I got a bag, and then I have like a little ozone. I forgot. It's like an ozone block, and you just cut
Yeah.
it on, and it sucks all the scent and puts ozone out, so it like really like neutralizes your scent.
Nice. Yeah, and you need that when you're archery for sure.
Yep.
Man, 2 years ago, I had I camp out at the lake and then hunt around the lake, and I had my ground blind and my crossbow, and this deer was like 10 yards in front of me, this doe, and I was like, this is it. It's like open and weak, about to get it. And my arrow wasn't knocked all the way. So I go
Oh
to shoot and like nothing happens. And like the deer's like looking at me, and I'm like trying to like get it. And I never could get it. I didn't realize it just was like stuck. It was like hung up.
yeah.
And that's the closest I've ever been to a deer.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've been from me to you from a deer.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like what's wild is 2 years ago, my now wife, she was like, want to get into hunting. So I was like, all right, I'll take you with me. Our first date, she dry fired my bow.
Oh
So
man.
it was the one that I like my very first bow. I wasn't shooting anymore, but I was like, okay, yeah, you gonna be around a little bit,
Yeah.
But so we go out. We're out in western South Dakota, and we're mule deer hunting. So we're spotting and stalking. Like mule deer is like they're not like whitetails. You're not gonna sit in a tree and hunt a mule deer. You gotta be on the ground, constantly looking. And we see this. I see this deer go down into this drainage, and I'm like, oh yeah, we
Yeah.
gotta get this one. So she makes a move on him. She gets down there to the top of the drainage, and she looks down and she jumps back. And I'm probably about 40, 50 yards away from her, and she kind of points down, and I'm like, yeah, like shoot him. So she draws her bow, but she like bends all like a 90-degree angle,
Straight down.
shoots, and he takes off. So when I saw him take off, he jumped, but then he went down. So I'm like, dang, he must have been like right there. So I run down. She's shaking because she's like, thinks she got him. And I'm like, where was he at? And she was like, he's he was right there. So the drainage goes out and it dropped, but then it went back down.
Yeah.
So it was like a little nook that he was in. She was like, he was right here. And I'm talking about like she was like, I could have grabbed his antlers. She heard him snoring. And I'm like, I've never been that close. Like
Yeah.
that's close.
For your first time
Yeah.
too?
And it got her hooked. We didn't and we she got two more shots at him. And the first shot, well, the second shot was he's probably about 40 yards away. And then she just took a bomb shot at like 60 to send one at him and he took off. But she's been hooked ever since. Like she gets
Yeah.
in her saddle, she goes out by herself and just hunts. So yeah.
That's what's up. That's a great first experience to be, like, so close. Cause
Yeah.
man, you can go out 100 times in a row and not see
And I see
anything.
nothing.
Spend 10 hours a day out there just, like, kinda hating your life sometimes.
See, I've been I guess you can say blessed. Every time I've gone out, I've seen deer. But it's
Yeah.
just like not where I need them to be.
Yeah, and sometimes it's, like, out of season, so, like, maybe I'll see a buck, but you can't shoot bucks,
Yep.
or, like or no, it's doe. Doe season's the first couple weeks, and
Yeah.
I'll see doe all year long, and it's like, can't shoot you
Yep.
till muzzle loader, to the end.
Yeah. Or you'll have a tag for something and see everything but that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's happened to me where I've had a what you call it, a doe tag, just doe only, and all I see is bucks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if there's bucks around, there's gotta be doe somewhere.
Yeah.
Nah, not this area.
Man, so why do you think hunting isn't common in the Black communities?
I think it's just, when you look at, the major hubs like where we have a strong population of African Americans, it's not, it's in its urban areas, it's a
Yeah.
city, and so they're definitely not going to get uh exposed to
Exposed
it.
to it.
Then you look at, like here in Texarkana, it's not popularized. You
Mhm.
don't turn on the TV and you're not going to see, your favorite hunter showing off, his deer or his trophy wall or nothing like that. It's not celebrated.
Yeah.
So the culture kind of floats to sports, music, art, stuff like that, because that's where they people believe that they can make a lot of money. You can get popular, you can get the followers and all that. So it's just something that we're not exposed to because it's often been deemed like, "Oh, that's a white person thing," you
Mhm.
know. That's my only my conclusion to that. But then I meet these families like in like South Carolina and in Kentucky where they're fifth, sixth generation hunters.
Yeah.
So I think it's just all depends on where you're born. But as a whole, it's not part of the culture.
That makes a lot of sense. Do you think it's more common up north, or like in these bigger country states, or bigger hunting states like Montana and South Dakota and stuff like that? You
Like
think more people bow hunt up there, or do, is it well averaged all around?
I think more people bow hunt up north.
Yeah.
Definitely bow hunt up north because the season is way longer. So you're looking at September, like so September 1st all the way till January, February is your season if
Yeah.
you're an archery hunter. When you got states like Iowa, you can't use a rifle in Iowa. It's slug only.
Oh, snap.
And Iowa has this culture of having these big monster bucks, and they get that way because the majority of the population bow hunts. And if you grow up and your grandpa and your dad have killed these massive giants, the last thing you're going to do is go out and shoot a dink.
Yeah.
So you're going to let deer pass, and so every state has its own culture. As for the black community, it's in the South. Like,
Yeah.
you go up north, no one's hunting. But down south, there's a huge, not necessarily they're hunting, but they're definitely fishing. They're out trapping. Feral hogs,
Yeah.
that's super big down south. But archery is becoming, is getting more popular in the community. Like when I first started, I knew like two other guys across the country. Now, dude, I've met like hundreds of cats.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, dude, I've been archery hunting since you know 2000.
Yeah.
Like, well, I just met you. I don't, so I
Yeah.
didn't know.
See, I was never exposed to bow. So like it was completely out of my influence until my buddy got a crossbow and was like, "We can hunt 2 months early." Like,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Okay, I'm sold." And then of course, I've listened to a lot of Joe Rogan and all that, and I'm sure that's influenced a lot of
Yo,
people
yes.
to get into crossbow or elk hunting and such. So what is your mission in the space as a black bow hunter?
Man, I just want people to get out and try it. My mission is to introduce as many people as I can to it. You don't gotta like it, but just look into it. I've introduced people to archery, and they necessarily don't want to hunt, but they like the competition side of it. Like I got a
Yeah.
buddy I played college football with. He's like, dude, I don't want to hunt at all. But after he shot the bow a couple times, he was like, I like this. And I was like, well, you don't got to hunt. You can
Yeah.
go do, you can do target archery. You got ASA, you got indoors, you got the Vegas shoot, which is
It's
the
a sport
biggest. It's a
itself.
sport itself, man. The Vegas shoot is the biggest archery competition in the country. Then you got the Lancaster Classic. I mean, these are big tournaments where you can make a lot of money, and on top of money, the sponsorship deals that come in from it.
Yeah. Man, that's got me thinking of some ideas.
Yeah,
Because I've been getting into ultra running, and it's like, what sports can we do as adults that's like competitive and like you can do it for yourself? Because there's not like baseball leagues or like basketball
yeah,
leagues, around here. And ultra running is one of those sports where it's like I'm in complete control of how much I put into this, and like I can compete anywhere and sign up. And I would love to expand into archery. And so, with that being said, I need a archery outfitter. And do you know this guy that's I tagged you in the post? He's opening up an archery shop
yeah. Blake
in
Keener, yeah.
Texarkana.
So I actually go to church with him.
Okay.
So he had told me like a couple months ago, like, yeah, man, I'm thinking about building a shop behind my house. And I'm like, hey, bro, when you do, let me know. You know what I'm saying? I'm down for it. Cause like when I moved here, there was an archery shop. Like I've
Yeah.
had to go to Tyler, have to go to Shreveport. Hell, I've driven all the way out to Stuttgart
Dang.
to go to archery shop. And so I'm like, I had the idea of opening an archery shop here, just you gotta get things in order. And he told me he was gonna do one, and then he called me last week. He was like, dude, next week I'm opening the shop. I want your bow to be the first one I work on. So I'm like, all right, let's get it. So Monday morning, he texts me. He's like, hey, dude, I'll be home at like 4. Dude, I got off work, went to his house, and I mean, the shop is beautiful.
That's
It is
awesome.
beautiful, and he wants to, he loves Jesus Christ. He's real deep in his faith, and he's like, I want to have like it's an archery shop, but also want to be able to merge my two worlds, and and preach the gospel to
Yeah.
people while they're here. And we had a great conversation. He got my bow set up, and it's shooting like a dream now.
That's what's
Yeah,
up. So you were his first
my
customer?
first customer. Yeah,
That's what's up. The VIP access.
right.
Famous archer. Um, so tell me a little bit about Carbon TV. I downloaded it, but from your own words, what is Carbon TV? And then tell me about the award you won through them.
All right, so Carbon TV is the especially like the YouTube for outdoors. You got TV shows, you got documentaries, podcasts. I mean, it's pretty much everything outdoors. And basically it's a lot of content creators were getting tired of getting, banned and blocked on,
That
Instagram and
makes
YouTube and all that
sense.
stuff. So Carbon TV started, probably 2010, just to have a one central spot for outdoors. And as social media beginning to start banning people, they start making their way over there. I had a guy on my podcast, Greg Gundella. He has a show called Rack and Rod Chronicles. Had him on a podcast, and he's like, "Dude, you would be great on Carbon TV." And I'm like, "All right, send the word up." And he was
Yeah.
like, "All right, cool." So he had reached out to Julie McQueen, who was the president at the time, and but I didn't hear anything back. I was like, people making a promise and
Yeah.
then don't follow through. But like a couple weeks later, she emailed me and was like, yo, we want to sit down and talk with you. Long story short, we had a meeting, and afterwards she was like, we would love for you to be part of the Carbon TV family. They sent over the contract, read it over, boom, signed it. That following April, me and my brother go to the Carbon TV banquet.
Nice.
So we're sitting there, and I'm seeing all these people win. You got best podcast, you got best, cook and all that stuff. And when the person got the best podcast award, I'm like, looked at my brother, I'm like, yo, we gonna win this next year. And he was like, what? I'm like, bro, we are gonna win best podcast. And I'm talking about I got some steep competition, but like I just at the time I just got out of a bad relationship. I had nothing but time on my hands. And dude, I came home, and dude, I was like future, early to no, like mid 2000 future. I'm dropping episodes like he was dropping like he was dropping mixtapes. I was doing
Dang.
5 and 6 episodes a day. Like I get off at 5 o'clock and 5:30 podcast, 7:30 podcast, 8:30 podcast. I'd podcast till
Damn.
1, 2 o'clock in the morning,
Dang.
and just dropping episodes. And when they put out the 2024 Carbon TV, like the nominations, and I got mine, I was like, oh, we in it now.
Yeah.
We in it.
That's what's up. So then you won Best Podcast in 24?
Yep, in 24. And the only reason didn't win it in 25 is because the company got bought out and they didn't do the awards. But I was definitely, if I'd
Dang.
have got in again, I was gonna win it.
Yeah. You have your own podcast studio?
Yeah, in my house. So I had my own studio in South Dakota. It was in my house, and then when we moved down here, first thing I did, like before I did any other construction in the house, I'm like, we got to convert this room into a studio. So me and my wife went to Home Depot and just like bought a bunch of stuff, and like I knocked it out in like one day. Just
Dang.
just like and I'm not good with tools, but
You can get it done.
YouTube University, I found out I'm cutting all kind of angles and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
yep. So
Yeah, you can learn anything. So how many episodes you think you've got under your belt?
so I've published 110 episodes. I probably have probably 175 to 180 on deck.
Dang. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's some work. I'm on episode like 18.
Yeah. Dude, I got the episodes that I haven't published is because like either one, the person didn't want me to publish it because they said something that they regret
Yeah.
saying, and like if I cut it out, it just don't sound, the conversation goes off. Then I had somebody come on the show that said some stuff that like the network didn't agree with, so I'm like, I can't post this.
Yeah.
And then I had people that had on the show, and then right before I published the show, they got caught up in some poaching incidents or something like
Oh
that. So it's
no.
like I can't be connected to that.
Yeah. I guess
So-
stuff like this, that's gonna happen. What's the biggest lesson that the woods have taught you?
patience.
Patience.
Patience, man. I'm one of those guys. I want something right
Yeah.
now. I want it when I want it, and I've really had to focus on my patience. Just being out in nature, and I get up in a tree and I'm like, "Hey, where the deer at?"
Yeah.
Well, no, you gotta wait. You gotta
Yeah.
wait, and just living in the moment. That's another thing too. I think often we live life. We're looking for the next big thing, and we miss so much stuff that's around us. And one thing when you're hunting, you're out there in the woods, man. There's a lot of stuff going on. Especially when you get out 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, the woods start waking up, animals birds start chirping. You
Yeah.
start hearing footsteps, and you actually like just see just like there's a whole nother world happening. Outside of you at your house or around town,
Yeah. Do you prefer the ground blinds or up in a tree?
like being up in a tree.
Yeah.
Yep, you can see more.
Yeah, for sure. And man, it's just you can get on the deer better
Yep.
being off the ground. Are you using a saddle?
Yep, I use a saddle. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. It took some it was a big learning
Yeah.
curve. And one, it's just trusting the rope. Like, is this one rope in this carabiner is holding me up in this tree,
Yeah.
and just trusting your gear. And once I learned just to lean back and just let it just go,
Yeah.
I was good.
For those that don't know, a saddle is kind of like you're in like a harness type of deal and it's got this big swing seat on
Yep.
it and you're hooked up to the chair and like you just kind of like lean back in it and you can kind of like swing around
Oh
the
yeah.
tree. I got one the year before last and I've only used it like 3 times.
I do. I use mine. Like, dude,
Yeah.
I used to go around and like if I was going to hunt in a certain area, I would have like preset lines. So I would just go and like just claim my tree. So
Yeah.
I don't have to come in and put up steps. I don't do that anymore. I'm super
Yeah.
mobile now. Like I one stick it. So
Yeah.
I'll get around a tree, have one stick, get as far as I can, climb it, and just get up there, and I'm good.
That's
Like
what's up.
I love because being mobile is super dope. Because like oh man, those deer are over there.
Yeah.
Well, let me get down. Wait till like 12 o'clock when they're kind of bedded down, and I'll just move and set up.
I'm excited about it. It's such a good investment because you're just like a mobile tree stand. You
Yep.
can set up anywhere at any time. And when you're like committed to that tree stand, you're just stuck there.
Yep.
You know?
That's it. Once you got a hang on, that's where you're hunting
Yeah.
at. Unless you want to get down and move it and make a bunch of racket, a bunch of
Bunch
noise.
of work.
Then yeah, then by the time you get it over, you're tired. You want to say, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then they got all these backpacks now where I have everything I need in my backpack. Then my backpack turns into like a knee pad. So now I wrap around a tree. It's right there. I got all my stuff I need, and I'm I'm chilling. I've even
Yeah,
got so comfortable with it. I sleep in my saddle. You know, I'll get up there and
that's
just lean
crazy.
against the bridge and go to
Yeah.
sleep.
So what are maybe your top 3 essential gear items if you're going out on a hunt?
Uh,
If you could only bring 3 and you lost the rest, what would you take?
one is not gear. One is, but it's a must have. I gotta have my Hostess Ice Honey Bun. That's yes, that's number one. Uh, a rangefinder
Yeah.
and probably a water bottle. That's it. That's all I really need.
Yeah.
I don't need a whole lot when I'm in the tree.
Yeah, just a rangefinder
That's it.
and your bow.
That's all I need.
Yeah. What do people misunderstand about hunters?
That we're conservationists. We're not just out trying to just kill everything moving. Like there's a reason why we hunt, and it's to properly manage the animal population. A lot of people think that we're just gonna go out there and anything
Kill
moving we gonna
everything.
wipe out. Like no, like there has to be a equal balance, in nature. So if there's too many deer in one area, you start they get like CWD or blue
Mhm.
tongue or chronic what's that? That's another
The first one
disease.
was chronic waste
Yeah, chronic wasting
disease.
disease, yeah. So they get they get that stuff and that
Yeah.
kills them off.
They have to be thinned
They
out.
got to be thinned out. So nature is naturally going to do it for them. If we don't do it, nature's going to naturally do it. On top of that, man, we're feeding our families.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, you can go to the grocery store." Man, after seeing all stuff on the news, we don't know what they feeding us, man.
Yeah.
And I can tell you now, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and for the longest, she was against eating deer meat just because she thought it was a deer. So
Yeah.
one time I made some spaghetti, ground up some deer, put it in there. She ate it. Oh, this is amazing. That's deer. Now, where the backstrap at?
She sold on
Yeah,
it.
where the backstrap at?
Man, see, mine's the opposite. Mine was cool with it, and then at some point she was like, "What kind of steak is this? Is it deer steak or ribeye?" I'm like, "It's deer," and she's like, "Nah." She won't eat the steak, but I might be able to hide like the hamburger meat
Yeah,
and stuff.
the
But
hamburger meat, what you call it? I do like little empanadas or whatever.
mhm.
Grinding it up is the best. Is gonna be
Yeah,
the best way to hide it. But yeah, my family eat it like used to like in South Dakota. I'd get 2 3 deer a year, and I mean by the next season we're done because we eat
yeah,
it so much, And I do my own processing, make my own
yeah,
sausage, my own jerky, and all that because man, these processing prices are getting crazy.
yeah. I was gonna ask you about that too. Do you know who Pat Savage is?
I do not.
Savage's Deer Processing in Leary.
I think
Um,
I've driven
You
by it
probably
before,
drove
but yeah,
by it.
but I've
It's
never
on the
been in
side
there.
of
Yeah,
82. That was my first job. I grew up a few houses down, and I started processing skinning deer and hogs and elk and buffalo when I was like 14, getting like $5 under the table.
yeah.
And I worked there for a couple years, but it really, I mean, it taught me how to skin and process deer. And I mean, maybe I've killed like 4 over the last 5, 6 years, and I've maybe processed 2 of them myself, and then it's nice to just be able to drop it off and get them to do all of it, but it is expensive. It's 100 plus bucks
Yeah.
for your deer.
But see, I love it like that whole like
Oh, the
breaking
process
it
of it?
down, grinding it, mixing all the seasonings, and like
Yeah.
I love making summer sausage, grinding it up, making deer like deer hamburger. I do all that stuff, man. A couple years ago, my brother is having a baby, and we had a diaper party, and I got this. I've perfected my 50-50 burger. It's 50% brisket, 50% deer meat, and man, I make these burgers and do to this day. People still talk about them burgers.
Nice.
And anytime people come over, man, you making them deer burgers? Nah, that's a special occasion burger, man, because that
Yeah.
brisket ain't cheap.
Yeah. So we got a few more minutes. What's taboo about you or your podcast or your mission, what you're doing?
Hmm. Taboo. Explain it to me again.
Um, so I mean, okay, so maybe what's something taboo about you? Because I was listening. This is a question that I'm going to start asking people more
Yeah,
because it's Taboo Texarkana podcast. But you and this guy were talking about like men's mental health,
yeah,
and either you or your guest was like, "Man, it's taboo to even talk about it,"
yeah.
And I feel like a lot of things are taboo. I mean, like bow hunting may be taboo around here, or almost I try not to cuss on the
Yeah.
podcast. I almost got on a rant, but like eating organic or eating deer meat or eating healthy is taboo. Taking care of yourself, or men talking about their mental health and stuff. So maybe whatever you can relate to the question.
Oh, just I mean that it's okay to be black and hunt. Like be able
Yeah,
to talk about it, because like I still know people now that they're black, they hunt, but they don't want people to know, like, oh no, man, I don't do that stuff. And it's like, but you do, right? Like
Yeah.
it's okay. Yeah, come out and say it. Like it's all good. Like no one's going to like shun you, for being black and hunting. Like just get back to we're just getting back to our roots, man. That's our ancestors did, you
Yeah.
know, and and then one thing about me that people they look at me and they will never know. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd, and I'm glad I'm able to come out and say it now
Yeah.
because like I remember back in the day, like watching anime and all that stuff. Like if you was black and you was doing that, man, like, man, you got clowned. You got
Yeah.
clowned. Now it is okay. They say like a black nerd. Hey, it's good. Yeah, dude, I love. Man, I had a guy on the show the other day, and dude, we spent 45 minutes talking about Star Wars and what we wish Disney would do with it on a hunting podcast
Yeah.
because that's the Dread Archery. We go anywhere. And but now it's cool. Like they had the Hype Con a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and man, I walked in there and see all them brothers and sisters. I'm like, man, I wish we had this back in my day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a nerd and I love it.
I love it. I love seeing people just embrace who they are and what they
Yeah.
love, no matter what people think. What is something that podcasting has taught you?
To listen,
Hmm.
to listen to people, man. Normally when I have this bad. Whenever I meet somebody, I'm so ready to say my name and say the next thing that I don't catch what they're saying. And now it's just taught me to slow down, listen, and then respond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. It's hard because it's like you can have like a real back and forth, authentic conversation, but if I'm like, okay, I need to ask this, this, and this, like maybe I'm not even hearing what you're saying,
Yeah.
and I've definitely felt the choppiness of it, but I'm starting to learn to not worry about like just the questions and just like rip off the. But I do have another question for you. So, tell me about the East Texas Bow Hunting Association.
So when I was in South Dakota, I was on the board for the South Dakota Bowhunters Association. They help with conservation. If there's any kind of legislation or anything, they're the lobbyists going
Yeah.
out and speaking with representatives of the state. And I got here, and it's like there's no bow hunting organization at all. I mean, there's not even a hunting organization. So it's like how do the people around here know what's going on legislation? I can't even say it legislatively.
Legislatively. Yeah.
What's going on with conservation? Are there any groups around here that are going out to public land and trying to help rebuild the habitat, clean the habitat up? There's nothing like that, and there's like no group of like that for archers to get together, or not just archers but hunters to get
Mm-hmm.
together and just fellowship and talk, and all that stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, met with a couple guys. I'm like, yo, let's get this going. So right now we're in a stage of like, actually writing our charter. What's our mission? And then once we get all that down, and like, I still haven't decided if I want to be a non for profit or what. I think that's the best route to go. And
For
you
sure.
get all that stuff situated, and then like boom, put it out there and start having like banquets and having meetups, and
Yeah.
hopefully I want to meet with the people at Lake Patman. Maybe we can get a 3D shoot out there, kind of like Total Archery Challenge or Shot the 3D Experience. Like really have
Man,
a big archery community like here in town.
that would be big. Having
Yeah.
events like that,
Yep.
and then you're gonna just build the community, and like the community's gonna link and become friends. It's just gonna build and build and build, man.
Yep.
I like that. I wish you all the success.
Oh yeah, dude. We're working on it, and it's going to happen because like I don't know. I mean, if you ever get a chance, you have to go to a Total Archery Challenge event. It's
Yeah.
like no matter which one you go to, we always go to the one in Oklahoma over at Beaver's Bend. Dude, you walk in and dude, it's thousands of archers from all over the country, all there to shoot these like crazy courses. And I mean, like when I
Yeah.
say crazy, you got like a 80-yard shot downhill on a rabbit, no bigger than this globe right here. So like you really got to test your archery skills. And I've seen guys come with 3 4 dozen arrows, they leave with two.
Dang.
Yeah. It's an event, and then people like all the industry leaders are there. And that's one thing about the archery community. Our superstars, our famous people are so accessible. Like you walk up to them
Yeah.
and they're not all like, they're not off in like a VIP section. They're right
Mm,
out there amongst the people.
yeah.
So like you really build these connections with these people, and I've like I want to bring that to Texarkana, bring all these
Man,
people to, my hometown and enjoy what raised me.
that sounds like a lot of fun. Tell me about the Brotherhood retreat that you're putting on. Where's it at? When is it? What's going on?
All right, so the Brotherhood Retreat is going to be April 15th through the 18th, 2027 in Oklahoma City. It's an event that I've been thinking about for a long time because I've met all these amazing archers around the country, black archers around the country, and we've all talk on the phone, every week. We meet up on like Skype or Zoom or whatever,
Mhm.
have them on a podcast. But out of all these guys I've met, I've only met like two in person.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I want to bring all these guys together. They all meet, and a lot of them have met because they live close to each other and they've become like hunting partners. But we all need to just meet, link up, and like just fellowship. It's not just a weekend where we're going to be out just shooting and talking hunting. It's going to be like a retreat where we just unplug.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the taboo things that men don't talk about. Mental health. A lot of us are all new dads. We just had kids. So, what are the ups and downs of being a new dad? And then we got guys that are in their, late 50s, early
Yeah.
60s. They can kind of give us the,
Yeah, maybe
you
their
know,
kids are already
yeah, their
grown, you
kids are
know?
grown. They give us the blueprint on, on how to, raise kids and, and how to, be a man. And on top of that, mentorship. You know, if we are going to be promoting getting more people in the sport, we need more mentors, more
Mm.
people to take these young guys under their wing and say, "Hey, this is how we do things. This is how we hunt. This is how we give back to the community."
Yeah. Man, I think that's important for every community and for all men and women. Like, I wish there was more opportunity. So good on you for
Oh yeah.
putting it together. And can just anybody sign up for that?
So this first year, what I did was it was invitation only
Mm.
up until August 1st. So I had a group of guys that I wanted to be like the founding
Yeah,
attendees, and I put it out there, and they all was like, "Yep, I'm coming.
let's
Here's
go.
here's the money," and so it's already booked up. So I to the point where I had one Airbnb and I had to book another Airbnb.
Hey,
So this year is closed off, but we definitely will be having we're gonna be doing another one because I got a
yeah,
waiting list of people that want to get on it. And like I said, this first one is also for like the black archers, the people I met. But the ones
it's
after
just
this
gonna
one
grow.
is gonna
Yeah.
be everybody. I
Who
want to
knows?
bring
You might do a couple of these a year
yeah,
in like different
exactly.
cities, or
Yep.
you might do this, and then the guys there might start hosting their own.
And see,
Like,
that's the plan. I have that in my little idea book. Like, yo, you go off and you have your own,
yeah,
and then we might have just one big one where everybody comes in.
yeah, you have
And
different states, different
yep,
chapters, different organizations. You're doing it,
yep.
man.
And then the companies that have reached out and said, yo, we want to be a part of it. Got an email last week from Vortex Optics, and they're like, yo, we want to be a sponsor. We got your back.
Yes,
What do you need from us? And I was like, holy smokes,
that's what's up.
this is dope.
Yeah,
So the bow hitch, Armando, he's down in New Mexico. He makes uh, it's like a device that goes on your bow where you don't have to hold your bow. You can just put it on
because
a little
carrying
strap.
your bow
Carrying your
sucks.
bow sucks, yeah, man. So he's donating stuff, and Grizzly Cooler. I mean, it's just so many companies reaching out that's like, yo,
That's
we
what's
want to be a
up.
part of this. And I was like, man, this is obviously the path that I'm supposed to be taking,
Yeah,
and to get these guys together.
man, that's exciting. Doing good things. So at the end of each podcast, I have you create a question for my next guest, and I'm going to ask you the question from Madeline from the last podcast. And it's not a super serious question. She said, "What's the most interesting thing about you that's not on your resume?" And hers was like a party trick, or a party fact, is what she
Yeah,
said.
me, man, I love cast iron skillets. Man, let me tell you something, dude. Me and my wife will go to thrift shops. We'll go to like they have this big thing down in Canton called like First Mondays or
Yeah,
something like
trade
that.
days,
Yep,
things.
man.
Yeah.
I go down there and dude, I have to force myself not to buy cast iron because I got so many. I love seasoning them. I love cooking in them,
Oh, they're the
dude.
best, man.
Dude, I like if I could like that's the only thing I would ever
Everything,
everything was
all.
cast
Yeah.
iron, everything. I'd have cast iron forks and spoons if I could. If
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super addicted to cast irons.
That's interesting. It's supposed to be like better for you. We've been cooking with the cast iron for the last like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, um, but I get it. You need cast iron like pots and like baking pans, and
Yep.
they're not cheap.
No, not at all. And my wife, she likes all the fancy looking stuff. So she's like,
Yeah.
it's ugly. It doesn't match. I don't care. Like I'm not cooking to accessorize. I'm cooking to eat. Like
Yeah. So, what impact do you hope to leave on? I won't even restrain it just to Texarkana, but the hunting community worldwide, U.S.
Man,
wide.
I just want people to get out and do it. Like, when I'm long gone, dead and gone, everything's on the internet is gonna be forever. I want one day some kid here in Texarkana or hell anywhere happens to come across a video of mine and says, "Man, I'm black and I got dreadlocks. I wanna hunt," and they can watch my videos and go and do that. I just
Yeah,
want to be able to leave that mark that, hey, just because you're from this community doesn't mean that you can't be involved in this community.
yeah.
Yep.
Similar question. What do you want your kids to remember about you and your legacy?
Man, that my dad lived. Yeah, that
Yeah,
my dad lived. That, man, when it if it from rock climbing to whatever, my dad did it. Like, he didn't pigeon himself, but didn't pigeonhole himself,
yeah,
to anything. He went out and explored the world. One of my favorite things I tell people is, man, I don't want to die and say I didn't taste that, because I love eating. So
yeah,
if I'm going on vacation, I'm structuring my vacation around restaurants and all this stuff. So, like, I live my life through food. So I've taken that and put it to, like, I don't want to live and not say I didn't do something.
yeah.
So,
You
I
only
want to
get
be able to
one
we
one shot.
we get one bite at the apple with this life thing, and I want to live mine to the fullest.
Yeah, that's what's up. I guess probably the last question. What do you hope Texarkana looks like in 10 years?
In 10 years, man, I want it to be, I mean, it's cliche to say this, but a booming community, man. I want, like, all the drama and trash talking to stop and become like a full blown community. Everybody supports everybody.
Yeah,
Too many times around here, you may have somebody that has a restaurant and somebody else opens a restaurant. Well, they beefing with the other restaurant because they opens, like, there's enough
bro.
there's enough food, enough money around here to
There's
go
enough
around.
people around
Yeah, it's
here.
enough people to go around, man.
You
Like,
can't get all 100,000 people in your restaurant one day.
no,
Like,
you can't. One day I might not want catfish. Maybe I want
yeah,
wings.
yeah. It's I put on events and it's like that too. And people used to get so mad and they're like, why would you schedule your event the same time as this one? And I mean, it's a lot. There's a lot of event planners and organization stuff goes on to it. And I'm like, man, there's 100,000 people in and around Texarkana.
Yeah,
Like, if we get 2,000 of those people, we had a successful event. Like,
exactly.
people can do both or do all of it, and we can collaborate and just make it better for Texarkana.
Yep. And I go out of my way to go to everything. Like, and that's one thing I wish the town would do better too, is advertise some of these events better, because I find out, like, the day of, I'm like, well, I
Yeah,
gotta go, because I can't be on podcast saying, hey, we gotta support everything, and I'm not doing it. So if I go somewhere, if it's an hour, 2 hours, I'm going to that event and I'm gonna go to the next one, show my face
yeah,
and buy something or something. I gotta go
yeah.
support it, because, like, we can't keep complaining that Texarkana doesn't have anything,
And then
and
we
then
ain't
we
doing
get something,
nothing.
we don't support it. So,
Yeah,
I know just me and my wife and my two daughters, the four of us don't make it ain't a lot, but at least we said we did it. We was
yeah.
there.
So, what is your question for my next guest?
Are you living or just existing?
Okay.
Yep. Like, I had a buddy, and he's going through the daily grind, daily grind,
Yeah,
daily grind. I'm like, bro, you gotta stop and enjoy life, man. You working so hard, working yourself in the ground, that, yeah, you got nice house, nice car, and family and all. Are you enjoying it though?
what's the purpose
What's
of
the
it if
purpose of it? You have a
yeah
heart attack tomorrow, you gone
didn't
and
live?
then live, man. You've worked all the time, so relax, man.
Yeah.
Don't just exist. Enjoy life.
I think about that often too. It's like, what's the purpose of like grinding and working so hard if there's like, I'm neglecting everything else
Yeah,
that matters, and it's like none of that stuff's gonna be there if I'm just like grinding away. Like, what's the point, you
that's the
know?
point, man.
And I'm like, destroy. I do landscaping, so like I'm about to go mow yards for 10 hours after this, and I've been taking days off. I dropped like 5 yards over the weekend because it's just like, man, I'm working sun up to sundown,
Yeah,
getting like 4 hours of sleep, and doing it over and over and over. And the money's great, but there's so much more to life, and I got to take care of my body, my mind.
yep,
Um, so Carbon TV, the Dreaded Archers on Spotify, Apple,
yep.
YouTube.
Hey, YouTube not so much. Like,
Okay,
I'm got lazy and stopped posting. So
yeah,
I think the last thing on YouTube is the Dreaded Archer bow draft that we had back in April. But other than that, like I'm going to start posting back on YouTube because people like want to watch the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'll start posting all the shows on YouTube again.
Can you watch it on Spotify? Is it video
I,
form?
I just got approved for that. So yeah,
Okay.
so this actually the episode that I'm posting next week will be the first episode that you'll be able to watch.
Nice. Just on time.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'll be slowly I'll be integrating everything over to
Okay.
so you can watch it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Cool. Anything else you want to say or plug?
Nah, man. Thanks for having me here, man. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
I appreciate it. Thank you all for listening. Check out The Dreaded Archer. All the information will be in the show notes. So thanks, Trey. Appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Shout out to Anthony Vaughn, the Texarkana Podcast Studio. You guys check him out. It makes podcasting easy. Thanks.